Good morning. Let's start the daily current affair discussion. The first topic that we will take today for discussing the marine protected areas. Okay, the first topic is related to the marine protected areas. Roughly 10 million square kilometers of the ocean must be annually brought under the marine protected area to protect 30% of the world's ocean by 2030. This is the decision taken. Okay, okay. So, at the fifth conference party to the CBD, Convention on Biological Diversity. So here what they agreed to roughly 10 million square kilometers of the ocean must be annually brought under the marine protected area. This will protect 30% of the world's ocean by 2030. 2030 is a period of SDG goals by United Nations. According to experts speaking at the ongoing 15th International Marine Protected Area Congress. So at the International Marine Protected Area Congress going on, so experts say that 10 million square kilometers of ocean must annually be brought under the marine protected area. So by 2030, 30% of the world's ocean will be covered under it. So countries set a target of protecting 30% of the planet's land and ocean by 2030 at the 15th conference of the parties to the Convention on Biological Diversity held in 2022. Currently, marine protected area represents only about 6% of the ocean. At present, only 6% of the ocean body are covered under the marine protected area. Of this, 2.4% are fully and highly protected and 3.6% are highly of the total marine ocean area are under the marine protected area, and this 6% has been planned to increase to 30% by 2030. So within a span of 6 to 7 years, another 24% are to be brought under it. The remaining 0.8% are designated and 2% have been proposed and committed. Fully protected area prevents extractive and destructive activity inside them. What are marine protected areas? Marine protected area are protected area of sea, ocean, estuary, or uh, like the in the US the Great Lakes. The marine protected area restrict human activity for conservation purpose, typically to protect natural or cultural resources in the marine ecosystem in their own habitat. Okay, no change. Definition: the International Union for Conservation of Nature defines a marine protected area as marine protected area is a term of protected area that includes marine environment and biodiversity. The Convention on Biological Diversity defines the broader term of marine and coastal protected area. Any defined area within or adjacent to the marine environment, together with its overlying water and associated flora, fauna, historical and cultural features, which has been preserved by legislation or other effective means, including customs, with the effect that its marine and coastal biodiversity enjoy a higher level of protection than its surrounding. It's called a marine protected area. The International Union for Conservation of Nature (IUCN) offers 7 categories of protected area based on management objectives and 4 broad governance types. What are they? See, so category 1A, strict nature reserves. A marine reserve usually connotes maximum protection where all resources removals are strictly prohibited. 1B, wilderness area where everything is wilderness. Number 3, national park. A marine park may prohibit fishing or extraction of resources but allow recreation. 4, natural monuments or features established to protect spawning nourishing grounds for fish or to protect entire ecosystem. Type 5, protected seascapes, a limited activity management as with protected landscapes. And 6, sustainable use of the natural resources. This way they have been divided. Okay. And what are the marine protected area in India? Considering both the national park along the coastline of the peninsular India, some continent, as well as sanctuaries in the island and inland territory. There are altogether 31 marine protected area in India. Remember this figure. So there are 31 marine protected area in India. 31 marine protected area. There are four significant national parks. At the Bureau of Interior Department check human interference in marine life as per the terms of the 1972 Wildlife Protection Act. So example, Bhitarkanika National Park, the Sundarban in West Bengal, the Gulf of Mannar Marine Conservation in Tamil Nadu. Okay. The Gulf of Kutch in the south part of Gujarat. Some notable marine sanctuary in the country includes the Chorao Island in Goa, Chilka in Odisha, Malbhan Sanctuary and the Thane Creek Sanctuary in Maharashtra, Pulicat Lake in Andhra Pradesh. Okay. The Union Territory of Lakshadweep and Andaman and Nicobar Islands also feature numerous protected area to safeguard the marine life. Okay. That means government has declared 31 sites in India as marine protected area. And you see, government of this shows the seriousness of the government of India in following the international standard to protect its marine ecosystem, because the marine ecosystem. Okay. So the marine protected area has been created in India, and so government of India is very much concerned about this. Okay. So this is why so importance has been being given by the government on the marine protected areas, and government of India is also concerned about this marine protected area and their development. Fine. And is willing to follow, okay, all international uh, terms and conditions on this particular issue. Okay. The next news is still large area remain unprotected. The nation as a whole commit to the act of protecting the biodiversity that bring pride to our nation and are part of our profound heritage. Okay. Then why are the Turkish earthquakes so deadly? So recently, so there is a massive earthquake in Turkey, okay, and Syria, and there is massive damage to loss and to life and property in both the countries, and the severity is more in Turkey than in Syria. Okay, so but the question is why such massive deadly earthquake took place. two large earthquakes, one of magnitude 7.8 and closely followed by magnitude 7.5, hit southeastern Turkey, claiming at least 17,000 lives. And at present, if you see by yesterday's statement, it is more than 30,000 lives and counting. Rockets considerable damage in Turkey as well as in Syria. Nearly to 200 aftershocks followed with earthquakes of magnitude 6 being reported in the region 3 days after the first tremor. The earth, so what is this cause of this earthquake? The earth crust is made up of roughly 15 massive segmented chunky slabs called tectonic plates. This is what the plate tectonic and plate tectonic theory. Okay, 15 massive segmented chunky slabs called the tectonic plates, which are constantly in motion. Second important thing, they are constantly on motion over the lava. Okay, because the interior is lava in a liquid form. These plates are floating over this lava. Okay, the land on which buildings are built rest on these plates. The plates continuously collide, push, and grate against each other, and the meeting points of these plates are made up of a series of faults. So, suppose this is a plate, this is another plate, this is the meeting point. Okay, if you go by this, suppose this is a plate, this is a plate, is the meeting point. If they collide with each other, this lead to the earthquake situation. It's called the fault. The pent-up energy from the nestling plates along fault lines is often released when an imbalance in pressure causes rock on either side of the fault to readjust. One set of rock. CSAT ର ଗୋଟେ set ଥିଲା। check କରିଦେବ ତାକୁ। ସେଇଠି ଯୋଉ ସେଟ୍ କୋଶ୍ଚିନ୍ ଥିଲା ତ ସେଠି ଦେଇଥିବ ଆମ ଟିକେ ପଚାରିଲ ଅନନ୍ତ ପଚାରିଲ କହିଥିଲୁ ଚେକ୍ କରିଦେବ। ସେ ଚେକ୍ କରିଦେବ ଦେଇଦେଇଛନ୍ତି ଆଉ। Okay, one set of rock rising up relative to the other is a normal fault, and one sliding down relative to the other is a reverse fault. When they grate or move past one another, it is a strike slip. The energy release travels as waves that cause the ground to shake. What kind of earthquake occur in Turkey and Syria? Turkey and Syria lie at the confluence of the three plates: the Arabian plate, the Anatolia plate, and the Eurasian plate. Fine, making the region an extremely seismic active zone. The Arabian plate is inching north into Europe, causing the Anatolian plate, which Turkey sits on, to be pushed out west. The bulk of Turkey sits on the Anatolian plate between the two major faults. That is why the present situation. You see, this is the Anatolian plate, it is going this way. Eastern Anatolian fault, the Arabian plate, okay. The African plate, the Asian plate, okay. So this is the fault line, the mark in the red. The North Anatolian Fault, the East Anatolian Fault. According to geologists, the earthquake were from the strike slip, which is typical of the earthquake in the region. Why were the earthquakes so devastating and deadly? As this region hosts many fault systems, there are many earthquakes being recorded in the region. Only those that results in a release of energy above a certain threshold are captured by the seismological instruments. At magnitude 7.8, the February 6 event is much bigger than the one the area has experienced before. The fault system runs along nearly 190 km, which is why the impact of the earthquake are so far-reaching. Fine. The second earthquake of 7.5 magnitude occurred further to the north on a different but adjacent fault system called the uh, Surgui fault. The magnitude of these earthquakes suggests that there will be several aftershocks that can be registered in a wide radius, and report of sex from as far as far away as Cairo in Egypt and Istanbul may have been reported. Are these similarity to earthquake in India? Can energy from latent pressure built upon over the years? The Indian plate colliding into the Eurasian plate and tilting upward created the Himalayas. The most common type of earthquake in the Himalayan region is due to reverse faulting because of the comprehensive forces between the two plates. However, whether it is strike, slip, or a thrust, the wave generated can be a powerful. Scientists have long warned of a massive overdue earthquake in the Garhwal Kumang range here because of what is known as the pattern of quake in the region. And in India, the Garhwal Kumang range is more susceptible to earthquake. Based on the amount of slip or the movement that is over observed in an earthquake and measurement of the amount of the strain that accumulates every year, scientists can deduce the latent pressure that building up along a fault line being released. Experts do not have any accurate report that date back, say, 1,000 years or 7 plus magnitude earthquake. The record of the last 300 or so years suggests that those that have occurred have not released all the pent up energy, and that is why experts think a major one is overdue. However, the day is unpredictable. In the Turkish Syrian earthquake, energy from nearly 300 years of accumulated strain was released. So that means you see 300 years of accumulated strain was released by the present earthquake in Syria. This shows that in India, so huge strain are being accumulated. So this may lead to. Okay, so the 30 Syria earthquake energy from nearly 300 is accumulated each release. Okay, so in India, it is also again built up for the last 200 years. So one day it may also burst, but the date is not yet this is unpredictable. How much does the magnitude of earthquake correlate to the damage they inflict? It is only broadly true that magnitude of earthquake corresponded to death and devastation. Chile, a country with a long history of devastating earthquake, over 9 is considered to be the model for earthquake preparedness. Despite experiencing earthquake with magnitude over 8 in 2014 and 2015, casualties are extremely minimal due to years of strict enforcement of building codes. This despite being a much poorer country than Japan. also known for its experience in earthquake-proofing structures. Fine. Japan is much developed, but in that way, but the a small country called Chile, not that a financially strong country. It is able to handle earthquake with much ease because the loss of life and property is much less in the earthquake magnitude of more than 8 and 9. The 9 magnitude earthquake that caused a tsunami and a radiation leak in the nuclear power plant in the country's Fukushima prefecture in 2011 in Japan did not damage the stability of the structure. Just as the energy release exponentially reached a single step in the scale moment magnitude, the cost of earthquake proofing too rises exponentially. On the other hand, if structures are built on the fault line, then no amount of engineering can save them. The lack of enforcement of building codes in Turkey and the timing of the earthquake in the early morning when people are leaving or just sleeping are believed to be major factor for the death and the devastation inflicted. It is bit like India where lot of rules on building codes but there is limited enforcement. In 1993, Latur earthquake, for instance, was a little over 6 magnitude but caused enormous damage because building codes are not enforceable there. Okay, so we should, when we are constructing on the fault line or near the fault lines, we should follow the building codes, fine, because that can only save life during the earthquake. Okay, the next topic for discussion is the quasi crystal. Scientists have discovered a new type of quasi crystal, one with 12-fold symmetry in the sand hills of north central uh, Nebraska in USA. It said that this quasi-crystal was formed during an accidental electrical discharge, possibly by a lightning strike on a down power line in a dune. Quasi-crystal is essentially a crystal-like substance. However, unlike a crystal in which atoms are arranged in a repeating pattern, a quasi-crystal consists of atoms that are arranged in a pattern that does not repeat itself regularly. The study, the electrical discharge triggered quasi-crystal formation in an Aeolian dune has been done by the Luca Bindi of the University of Florence, Italy, Paul Steinhardt of Princeton University, USA, and others. They have made the study on this. According to the study, it is also the first time that researchers have found a quasi-crystal somewhere other than meteoroids or the debris from nuclear blast. Notably, scientists have been producing them in laboratories for years now, but it's quite rare to discover naturally occurring quasi-crystals. The duohexagonal quasi-crystal is an example of a quasi-crystal of any kind formed by electrical discharge, suggesting other places to search for quasi-crystal on Earth or in space and for synthesizing them in a laboratory. What is quasi-crystal and where are they used? For the longest time, physicists believe every crystalline arrangement of atom must have a pattern that repeats itself perfectly over and over again. However, this changed in 1982 when mathematical material scientist Dan Semman discovered crystal structures that are mathematically regular but that do not repeat themselves. While studying differential patterns which occur when X-ray are passed through the crystals, Suchman noted a regular diffraction pattern that did not match any periodically repeated structure and concluded that he has come across what are now known as quasicrystals. For his discovery, he was awarded Nobel Prize in Chemistry in 2011. Since that discovery, quasicrystals have been widely created in labs and known to possess novel electrical photons and mechanical properties that are not found in other materials, making them an attractive prospect for materials scientists. They are used in manufacturing non-sticky frying pans, needles for acupuncture and surgery, dental instruments, and razor blades. So these quasicrystals are used. What are the finding of the new study? Although quasicrystals can be easily produced, they are rarely found outside the laboratory. The first one such identified is a meteoroid around 2009 near the uh, Katyarka River in Chokhtya in Russia. The second one was discovered in 2021 during the study of debris from the site of the world's first nuclear explosion, which took place in 1945 in New Mexico. Scientists suggest that in both the instances for the formation of the quasicrystals, materials were subjected to extremely high pressure and high temperatures of at least 1200 degrees Celsius and the pressure 5 GPH, and the New Mexico sample reached 1500 degrees Celsius and closer to 8 GPA. These transient intense conditions controlled the material's atom, forcing them to arrange into patterns unseen for usual laboratory conditions. The latest discovery is only the third time that scientists have come across a quasicrystal in nature. As per the study, the quasicrystal was created by a lightning strike or a down power line in a wind created dune in the sand hills of Nebraska. Okay, the discharge produced extreme temperatures more than 1710 degrees Celsius that led to the formation of a fulgurite, a tube of fused and melted sand along with traces of melted conductors metal from the power line. The new quasicrystal was found inside a tubular piece of fulgurite. The scientist behind the latest research also mentioned that the discovered quasicrystal has a dodecagonal and 12-sided atomic structure, which is quite unusual because the previously found quasicrystal as well as the lab-grown one have 5-fold symmetric patterns, but this has a 12-fold, 12 sides. Okay, so this is a new discovery, and this will again encourage scientists to go for producing something new. Okay. Okay. So the next news is about the Sukanya Samridhi account. The Prime Minister Narendra Modi has congratulated Indian Post for opening more than 10 lakh Sukanya Samridhi accounts in 2 days. A minimum of 250, earlier 1,000, the maximum of 1.5 lakhs can be invested in a financial year in this account. Fine. So minimum to 250 rupees and maximum 1.5 lakhs can be deposited in a financial year in one particular Sukanya Samriddhi account by. Okay. So the minimum annual deposit requirement or the minimum amount required to be deposited in Sukanya Samriddhi account every year has also been lowered to 250 from the earlier 1,000 earlier. The Sukanya Samriddhi account is a social welfare scheme launched in 2014 to promote the welfare of girl child and facilitate the interest of girl child such as her education and marriage. So this is also a substitute that a follow-up of the Beti Bachao Beti Padhao scheme launched by the government to protect the girl child. Then parents, legal guardians can open only one account in the name of one girl child and maximum two accounts in the name of two different girl children. The account can be opened off from the age of 10 years only to the date of birth of the girl child, whereas investment can be made till the child attains the age of 15 years. The account can open up to the age of 10 years only from the date of birth of the girl child, whereas investment can be made till the child attains the age of 15 years. The interest rate of Sukanya Samriddhi account is revised every quarter, likely other small saving instruments such as the public provident funds and the senior citizen savings scheme. Sukanya Samriddhi account will mature on completion of 21 years from the date of opening of the account. Okay, so it mature on completion of 21 years from the date of opening of the account. 21 years from the date of opening. Fine. A partial withdrawal will be allowed on the account holder attaining the age of 18 to meet educational or marriage expenses. Withdrawal will be limited to 50% of the balance standing at the end of the preceding financial year. Normal premature closure will be allowed for the purpose of account holder's marriage if she attains the age of 18 years. Contribution to that students of the account qualify for tax deduction under the section 80C of the Income Tax Act. The next important news is the Aero India Show at Alanka Air Base in Bangalore. The 5-day Aero India Show is its biggest avatar yet began at the Air Force Station at Alanka in Bangalore on February 13th. Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated the 14th edition of the biennial show, the President of the Defense Minister Rajnath Singh. On the theme, the runway to the billion opportunity, it seeks to display India's growth in the aerospace and defense capabilities. Flying displays are also scheduled on all 5 days. Aero India is a business event which additionally aims to strengthen India's relation with other countries. Likely to witness the participation of 98 countries, the defense ministers of 32 countries, okay, air chief of 29 countries, and the 37 CEOs of the global and Indian that aviation industries or the original equipment manufacturers are expected to attend the event. More than 100 countries participate in the scheme. MSME and startup in the field will also be present. Fine. What is the Aero India Show? On behalf of the Department of Defense Production and the Ministry of Defense, Aero India is being organized by Hindustan Aeronautics Limited in 2023. Major exhibitors include defense and aircraft manufacturing companies like the Airbus, Boeing, Dassault Aviation, Lockheed Martin, Agile Aerospace Industry, BrahMos Aerospace, Army Aviation, SC Robotics, SAS Saab, Safran, Royal Royce, L&T, Bharat Forge Limited, Bharat Electronics Limited, Bharat Dynamics Limited, and the Bharat BEML Limited. The event aims to promote export of indigenous air platforms like the light combat aircraft Tejas, SDP-40 Dornier light utility helicopter, light combat helicopter, and the advanced light helicopter are also presented for export. Okay. It will integrate domestic MSME and startup in the global supply chain and attract foreign investment, including partnership for co-development and co-production. What is expected at this year's exhibition? A number of seminars will be held on harnessing the potential of ex-servicemen of Indian defense industry, India's defense space initiative, opportunity for shaping the Indian private space ecosystem, indigenous development of futuristic aerospace technology, and more. A defense ministers conclave will be hosted on February 14th. Defense ministers of foreign countries, friendly foreign countries will participate in the meeting, which has been organized on the theme of shared prosperity through enhance engagement in defense. Okay, this is the theme of this year's summit. About 251 MOUs with an expected investment of 75,000 crore are likely to be signed for partnership between the various Indian and foreign defense companies and organizations during the Bandhan ceremony on 15 February that will be held on the sideline of the summit. Fine. After this, let know the today's answer writing. So the health of municipal finance in India is Odisha. And health of municipal finance. Okay. Each Orisham and multi-pronged strategy needed to deal with this comment. Okay. The 7th Constitutional Amendment marked a watershed in the evolution of the municipality or the urban local body as it granted them constitutional status with a clear mandate for democratic decentralization. This did not, however, result in a structural shift in the way uh, okay, so municipal corporation function. According to RBI report on municipal finance in the financial year 2021, so 141 municipal corporations saw a sharp decline in revenue or a significant increase in the expenditure over the 75%. Okay, so issue of municipal finance. What is the major issue in the municipal finance? Okay, so no exclusive fiscal domain for municipal government. State law specify the taxes that municipality can levy and collect. States stipulate the purpose for which funds may be spent. Fix salaries and impose limit the amount of debt. The lack of autonomy in fixing tax rate is one of the most serious handicaps that municipal government face in managing their finances. A declining share of municipals' own source of revenue among own revenue sources, over-reliance on property tax has constrained exploiting other avenues of funding, such as trade licenses, entertainment tax, tax from mobile towers, solid waste user charges, etc. Internal inefficiencies, lack of municipal capacity at technical and managerial level to tap resources efficiently has not led ULP to liberate their full potential. That means they are not yet been able to liberate their full potential. Ineffective State Finance Commission. The state government has not set up State Finance Commission in a regular and timely manner, even though they are required to be set up every 5 years. Accordingly, in most states, the State Finance Commission have not been effective in ensuring rule-based devolution of funds to local body because the State Finance Commission created after the provisions of the 7th and 7th Amendment Act. They have to recommend the devolution of finance from the state to the urban local body and the rural local body, but they are not doing it on a regular basis. So, measures to deal with the above issues: creating a market for municipal bond, a vibrant sub-sovereign municipal debt market catering to the robust investor appetite, where municipal bond can provide an avenue for access to public funds. The municipality, in case they are going for creating infrastructure, from where they can raise money, they can access the capital market to the selling the municipal bond. Now, some municipalities have started issuing municipal bond, but their number is very few because whether the project created through those bond will be financially viable or not has not yet been ascertained properly. So, issuing municipality bond and raising money and spending that money on development and paying it back from the user charges has not been properly estimated. Okay. Tapping land-based financing. This area has enormous potential for revenue generation. In the case of municipal corporation, instrument may include vacant land tax and two-part property tax. The higher rate for land than building. Fine. That is what can generate revenue. Improving municipal financial management, there is a need to create positive and negative incentives and accountability framework to incentivize and regulate municipal bodies in order to overcome the problem of inefficient administration of existing revenue sources. Institutional capacity building, create a reform and performance management cell in the government of India with a multidisciplinary team undertaking activities such as providing technical assistance to state government, regulators and municipal body in planning, finance, operation and monitoring of urban programs, creating a dedicated municipal information unit to collect and analyze comparable data on municipal services and finances on an annual basis. Municipal finance can also be boosted by developing partnership with impact finance in the private sector, pushing for outsourcing. For example, garbage service and exploring PPP methods, hybrid annuity model, and participatory budgeting can also be explored by the municipality to make them financially more viable. A local government constitutes a critical tier in India's three-tier governance system. Accordingly, strengthening the governance structure of civic bodies and financially empowering them through a combination of generation of their own resources and greater transfer are critical for effective public policy intervention at the grassroots level. Fine. So, if the municipalities are to function properly, they must have financial adequacy, and that adequacy cannot be always dependent on the supply or the transfer of money from the state government. Rather, the municipality should have their own source of revenue from where they can earn and spend as per their wish, and they can take up developmental activity as or in comparison to the source of revenue that they are able to generate. That can make them more financially sound and durable in future. Then come to the MCQs. One marine protected area are defined by the World Conservation Union. Okay, International Union of Conservation of Nature. Okay, right. Currently, marine protected area represent only about 6% ocean. That is right, and the target is to bring one third by 2030. Fully marine protected area prevents extractive activity, while highly protected area allow light extractive activity. Only three are correct on this. The answer is A. The reference to Aero India Show 2023 consider the following. It is an annual show of various Air Force defense capability across the globe. No, biannual and of India. In 2023, on behalf of the Department of Defense Production and the Ministry of Defense, Aero India is being organized by Hindustan Aeronautics Limited for the first time. Earlier, they organized by the Defense Ministry. But this time, the Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, the premier public sector company, is organizing the Aero India 2023 version. Right? Only two is correct. Which of the following statement about the Sukanya Samridhi Scheme is not correct? Only parents of girl up to the age of 10 years can open such accounts in their daughter's name. Okay, that is not correct. Okay, guardian also can open. Contribution are eligible for tax benefit under the section 80C of the Income Tax Act. That is okay. That is also correct. Okay. So not correct. That means that one and two are correct. Interest earned thereon is exempted up to 1500 per annum. This is incorrect. Okay. So amount of 1.5 lakhs per annum can be invested in the account. That is correct. So incorrect is C. With reference to plastic crystal, consider the following. They do not occur naturally. So plastic crystal um, occur naturally. Okay. But majority of them are made in the laboratory. They are used in manufacturing non-stick frying pan, used for acupressure, acupuncture, and surgery, dental instruments, and razor blades. So one is correct. So it is not incorrect means one is incorrect. So answer is A. One. Which of the following are correct about Indian plate? The Indian plate is technically different from the peninsular India plate. Eurasian plate has been sinking below the Indian plate to form the Himalayas. Okay, so incorrect. It forms a convergence plate boundary with the Himalayas. It also extends to Pakistan and Myanmar. This is right. So only three is right. The Jaffna Cultural Center, recently seen in news, is an important initiative signifying the close cultural cooperation with Japna in Sri Lanka. So it is the Tamil culture. So in Sri Lanka, Prime Minister recently inaugurated a year-long celebration commemorating 200th birth anniversary of Maharshi Dayanand Saraswati. Referring to Dayanand Saraswati, consider the following: the social reformer who founded the Arya Samaj, okay, in 1875 to counter the prevalent social inequality. The Arya Samaj were based on the teaching of Puranas. No, so only one is correct. Recently, police lunch operation, number 8. Recently, police launched Operation Sandstorm, a massive crackdown on end illegal mining of sand in Balashur district, Odisha. The reference to management of minor minerals in India consider the following. Sand is a minor minerals according to the prevailing law in the country. State government have the power to grant mining lease of minor minerals, but the power regarding the formation of rules related to the grant of minor minerals lies with the central government. Fine. State government have the power to frame rules to prevent illegal mining of minor minerals. So here 1 and 3 are correct. So 2 is not correct in this. Recently Google launched Bard, which is mainly a competitor to which of the following? To OpenAI chatbot, ChatGPT is a competitor of that. C. With reference to River City Alliance, what is the following? River City Alliance, first of its kind alliance in the world launched in 2021. Right? Dhara, driving holistic action for urban river. The annual meeting of the member of the River Cities Alliance, organized by the National Mission for Clean Ganga, okay, of India, is also correct. Both 1 and 2 are correct for question number 10. Fine.